Welcome to Caliban Command. Today we're going to cover battleline options. Tactical squads. This squad can take a special heavy and sergeant loadout. It is fixed at a 10-man squad. As it is not a Tacticus, Phobos, or Gravis unit, it can be taken in a Rhino. It has the combat squad rule, which allows it to be split into 2 units, which could allow you to sit the bolt gun carriers into one squad and your special heavy and sergeant loadouts into a second squad. The downside to this unit fall into its fixed size and its relatively high cost for only filling one mandatory battleline slot. It also loses the ability to specifically harm set targets. They aren't good at anti-vehicle hunting despite the fact that they can take a heavy weapon. You are better off going with something that has a fixed target in place of a tactical squad. Devastators, amongst many other units, can often fill the same shoes with more volume of fire, if less bodies, for cheaper when targeting specific targets. Yes, you can take a plasma gun. Taking a squad of Hellblasters allows you to take 5 plasma guns, however, as one example. Eradicators and Eliminators and Devastation squads are a few examples where you can find more of a single weapon type within a unit. You get 20 wounds for 160 points, equating out to 8 points per Marine. But outside of their special weapons, they have weapons that struggle to compete against their peers. Their special weapons stack up better against their battleline peers, but fall short due to numbers against, for instance, Devastators, who can bring higher numbers of those same weapons. These can be good in smaller games, but honestly, if you have to go out and buy these in order to field them, I'd personally find a different option. The tactical weapons that I would recommend are the Thunderhammer and Grav Pistol for anti-vehicle options for the Sergeant, Power Fists and Plasma Pistols for anti-elite. For the special weapon Marines, I would recommend the Grav Gun or Melta Gun, and for the heavy weapon, I would take the Lascan or Multi-Melta. The Intercessor squad is our second cheapest battle line, only being higher than Assault Intercessors by 5 points. When stationary, they begin to hit on 2-ups, but can also fire after advancing at their usual 3-up to hit. Their grenade launcher is free currently, and a single crack grenade at 24-inch strength 9 and minus 2 AP and D3 damage is a nice freebie. Not to disregard the frag grenade, which can get some good volume of additional strength 4 damage. These can easily be forgotten, and I know there are matches they could have made some difference for me in the terms of removing a squad quicker, things of that nature. They have access to nearly all of the Space Marine transports, the exceptions being the Rhino and the Razorback. The Sergeant is the only model with a proper melee weapon, otherwise they have the close combat weapon, which, while better than nothing, still isn't ideal. Their range is 24 inches on their guns, which isn't bad, but there are situations where you just won't be in range to begin doing damage with them early on. Their highest strength ranged weapon is 4, which puts them on anti-infantry duty, a job they do a really solid job at. But that crack grenade or the melee weapon on the Sergeant is really your only anti-elite options for the Intercessors. You get 20 wounds for 85 points, which means roughly 8.5 points to a wound, coupled with their decent rate of fire at 2-up when stationary and full ballistic skill after advancing. It can be a really solid choice for your army. Their toughness isn't amazing, but you also really aren't taking them just for durability. You are after the objective control and fire volume. Intercessor weapons. The bolt rifle. That's it, folks. 10 shots per 5 bodies equipped with them at 2-up if you're stationary, or 10 man at a full run with advanced rolls. Either way, it's a solid call. Add the AP -1 and you have a solid, reliable fire base that can be on the move or hold objectives without losing any of its potency. The Sergeant's melee weapon is worth it. If nothing else, it's a free melee swing that will hurt more than the close combat weapon if your squad gets into combat. The pistols, in my opinion, are not worth it. The bolt rifle has much better range, and while the pistols can hit harder, they often don't get a chance to. The grenade launcher is so often forgotten in my matches, and I regret it every single time. Assault Intercessor squads. Their ability allows them to reroll wound rolls of 1 unless the enemy is on an objective, which makes it all wound rolls that can be rerolled. The special pistols, unlike on normal Intercessors, are absolutely worth it here. You should always be in range to use it because you should always be trying to get into melee. The Sergeant's melee weapons make a bigger difference here than in normal Intercessor squads because they should consistently be in combat. They share a transport list with the intercessors. Advancing each turn until they can charge is not a bad idea, as you really have no range damage to lose. They have no ranged weapons with more than 18-inch range. They are slow unless advancing. A transport is almost always recommended for matches, and their melee attacks are strength 4 except for the sergeant. You get 20 wounds for 80 points, which means 8 points to a wound. They really should never be idling on an objective. They are better at shaking an enemy off an objective than holding one. The sergeant can take a power fist and gets 3 swings at strength 8 minus 2 AP and 2 damage while maintaining his 3 up to hit. The other 4 members of a squad, presuming the sergeant takes a special melee option, still brings 16 strength 4 minus 1 AP 1 damage swings at 3 up to hit. The bolt pistol is bonus damage during a shooting phase that you're in combat. Don't rely on it to mop up, but something is better than a wasted phase. Now on to heavy intercessors. These have a special place in my heart. The range on the heavy bolt rifle has an extra 6 inch of range compared to the bolt rifle that the intercessors have. Strength 5 gives a slight edge when fighting other Marines or other toughness 4 units. Wounding on 3 up and wounding on 4s against toughness 5 can help when dealing with mounted units. Toughness 6 and a bonus to saving against damage 1 weapons can make the unit much harder to shift off an objective and can make these an ideal objective holder. They only have the close combat weapon. They have 5-inch movement but can advance at no penalty thanks to assault on the bolt rifles. They have the Gravis keyword, which does restrict transport options and character support options. The Biologus doesn't work as well with them as it does with aggressors, for instance. These guys are stacked for defense. You need anti-elite weapons to shake these guys reliably off an objective. They're a solid objective holder as a result of that. On a midfield objective, they can still contribute to a battle and will absolutely make an impact with their bolt rifle. The heavy intercessors have our longest range for battleline choices and our highest strength battleline shooting. When stationary, they become 2 up to hit and 3 up on the heavy bolter. A squad will produce 8 shots at 2 up to hit or 3 up to hit if you've moved, damage 1 and an additional 3 shots at 3 up or 4 up to hit if you've moved, to hit with 2 damage and sustained hits, all of it at AP minus 1. Plus, if you advance, you can maintain your 3 or 4 up to hit on the respective weapons, making them a fairly mobile objective carrier. My channel is being supported by Hobbytown. It's where I've bought most of my collection over my time playing Warhammer. I got into the hobby with some advice from one of their workers, and have since expanded my knowledge base and skill set with the game. They support a wide array of hobbies that this small collage series just doesn't do justice to. They have stores spread out across the US, and I strongly recommend that you pop in and take a look if you get the chance, or visit them at hobbytown.com. My local shop has been an amazing support group for my hobby goals, as well as helping me meet new people and expand my skill set over the time. They're always happy to talk color theory with me or recommend products that they think might help me along my way towards getting a project done. It's been a blast working with them, and I look forward to doing so in the future. Anyway, this has been Caliban Command, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. Keep painting and have a good time with the game.